You'll find both, it doesn't matter. I just needed to push the button. Funny enough. And how is the sound level? Is this better? For you, Cleban? Okay. I wonder if actually you was using both my headset and and he's gone for Jordal. Anyways, love it. Cool. It is definitely picking up higher as well. I'm not exactly sure what it actually changed, but hey ho. So we got Jordal at the gang in orphans, I will imagine. He kept the death roller, but it still fired the dwarf. He's down to 13. So we got Bassa probably just going a bit back now. And you might be right, Conrad. I just never tried it where it was the problem. I personally, I still really don't like the deep stall. Sorry, I'm being cold. Was because the playoff TV page should be working again. Yeah. So just updated this. It's the secondary runner. Focus on the whole third, yeah. Sorry, I was doing some esports updating. But yeah, see, it's because it's not actually his runner. His main runner is this one, AG plus strings plus. So Dio likes taking dirty players in his second runner. And keeping his stun firm, guard, diving tackle on the sidelines to make this run through Basa is needing to do at one point harder. I do think he might actually do. Straight in with the apple. He's probably not going real forward, he's just moving a bit sideways.
Okay. Oh, I'm full of yummy dinner. And chocolate log. Yum.
Cool, you missed a Slayer casualty on first blocky. Again.
Oh.
So Basa has going with Yordle and the Wiz. Like, I think both of us, both of us like that. Deals kept the roller, but sacrificed another dwarf. So he's 13, not 14. 14 did seem a little big bench for this matchup.
It did seem very fat to face elves, didn't it?
This is not really Daka. This is what I normally do as well. Maybe I do actually have the ball a bit higher, as we probably did see earlier today. But I don't like going too deep because it's just a pain if it goes wrong. And if you get a gap, you don't really want to be way too back.
No, I mean, this is how I tend to play elves as well. I want to be near enough that if I get an opportunity, I can break through and stall down the other end. But also close enough that I'm trying to tempt them in a bit to hope that they miss position. Hope they give me some space to do that. And if you hold too far back, it just allows them to really set up exactly as they want. Although against dwarves, the Daka is perhaps more effective than against something with a little more speed. But still, if the dwarves are coached well, you can keep a nice defensive line and still throw a couple of dwarves forward to try and cause a little bit of attrition, try and give them some problems.
Yeah, PC's going in mine.
Oh, sorry.
No worries. It's I've just been trying to fiddle some settings, but that means now you going in mine instead. Could you say something again?
Yeah, I can just always just talk. Is that any better? And I'm pretty sure everyone would want to hear things I say twice.
I think I got you to
yeah, absolutely. I wouldn't describe this as a Daka just yet. I'm not saying we won't see one.
Yeah, I can see it's good. Part of Discord, you can actually see if it activates my talk, and it doesn't now, and he still gets pretty high up. So I think it's alright.
Okay, good.
No, this is just normal.
I'm still on the Twitch stream for now. I'm just coming in, but it'll take a while to catch up, obviously.
Yeah, Deer is. I think Deer is from of the top players of what you should call it. He's one of the more aggressive foulers. We actually like.
Yes, I think that's fair.
He's definitely seen more value in it than a lot of other hype ranked or whatever fuck we should call it player does.
Lucky, don't we? Don't we call those players lucky? The ones that have high win percentages?
I like, but he does normally. I think he's better at finding the right value. I find potentially some of the fouling that was going on in the earlier cup game today. I'm not sure about all of those, even if it's zombies.
Yes, there was a couple there was one particularly I didn't like because it used up a bribe when there was a much better fouling target the next turn, which then had a zombie sent off for it. I mean, again, being nice and long on the bench does give him that option of losing a dwarf or two.
Yeah. And he's taking Dirty Blair on the runner for the same reason, because and you also know easy winning strategy for him against this this particular team is twatting it out. But he's left a really easy breakthrough, which Baza is probably taking now to put all his players on the wrong side of the line. Even if it's a bit early.
Yeah, I don't hate the idea of... I mean, the dwarves have pushed so far forwards here. I get why they've really hemmed those elves in, but they have left this route up the side just way too blank. And I would be pushing lots of elves up there and trying to stall up at the far end.
Yeah, anybody again seeing me is... I'm definitely not against turning the corner of people and try to stall out from the other side.
Well, and by the time the dwarves get back there, of course, you can just you can stall up in one corner, and as soon as they start pressuring it, you try and swap over to the other side. Ideally, if you can reverse the entire field and get all of your elves the wrong side of the dwarves, they're pretty screwed. But there are just so many dwarves, those 4 or 5 steps over the halfway line, that leaving a lot of them behind is just too tempting to ignore right now.
Actually, oh, give me a second.
Yeah, he's even going to try and score on the right elf, which Dio will be secretly upset by, but pleased at the same time. Of course, he doesn't have emotions, but if he did, they would be conflicted about now. So unlike your game, Core, we're not seeing a lot of fighting of the dwarves here, are we? We're seeing...
No, I will also say the dwarf made it hard to actually fight them.
Yes.
No,
they've come forward with some lovely support for each other, all the guard helping to cancel other assists. Nothing that open, except the blitzer he's chosen to mark up. And I get why it is a dangerous piece to have coming back after you, and if he can hold that whilst he advances, that's going to be all to the good.
because it makes a difference. Like, what happened in mine was that the dwarf kept leaving actually like straight up 2 dices to just block yourself free instead.
Yeah.
Where Dio is coming up in small pairs, which make it really hard to fight.
Absolutely. Plus, also, you had a much longer bench, didn't you? Which
one longer, because you do have Jodel, which means it's 12. I was only 13. But yeah, I guess it's double off of bench. It's still a lot of difference. And I did try to avoid getting hit by the tackle mighty blow as much as I could.
Yes. A little tricky to do here, as there is really a lot of it.
To be fair, for I was about to say for Nico team, Pates having 3 of them was more than normal. You quite often don't see in CCL people have them more than one tackle mighty blow.
Yeah, and actually, I mean, for a dwarf team this size, you could see some more mighty blow on it. It's very, very stand firmy, very controlling. Lots of guard, lots of stand firm. And enough mighty blow to do the damage he wants, but I still think a couple more might be nice. And of course, we have a pomming Longbeard. With grab as well, which is a really interesting combo.
I kind of hated it for 2 ways. I hated it for the team build wise, but playing Wood Elf, I kind of hated having to play against it as well.
Yeah.
But I think...
I mean, I'm not a big fan of piling on beards, as is reasonably well known.
It's tackle mighty blow, but I'm still not down with having...
He can't throw the apoth in this early just on a missing, can he?
No.
No.
It's wrestled.
I mean, I think the apothecary here is for either of the dancers.
Maybe not.
The lovely guard sidestep catcher.
I'm not sure.
Maybe not even the worst dancer, but the plus strength one or the guard dancer. I'd use it on those.
Like it's a bit.
The guard catchers.
No, because yeah, the rookie war dancer is like mine. He's more like a. He's a more support piece than actually a.
He's for interference, isn't he?
Yeah. Another missed next game.
Another missed game, but this time a fairly decent elf has gone out. We might see the apoth here. I don't think so.
We did.
We did. Wow.
Lightning speed and it. I think Baza had already decided that was going to be saved.
Yeah. Now, do you think that's just down to sheer numbers, or do you think that's a piece he really wants?
I was about to say for the one turner you kind of really want it, but you do have 3 stand, 4 stand firm, so the one turner's not really on. I just think it was the sheer number for this defense. It must be
the first reasonably skilled elf to go.
Yeah. I'm not sure I had done it. Actually, I don't. I cannot see block sidestep shattering being a big thing in this game.
No, so perhaps it's about, again, another missing. So it's 2 actual elves down for the next game if he wins. At some point, you just got to say, you know, even if I win, there's no point if I'm left with a KFoged team for next game. Because not everyone can reach Chalice semi-finals with just 3 elves.
It was quarterfinal, but yes, I still think I should have won that quarterfinal though, with my 3 elves. It still make me a bit annoyed.
Certainly, I think you had the chances to, but yes,
it was a bit like
it was a team that light. You can never be that upset.
No, it's a little bit like Jimmy's game. Like he could so many ways have lost to that Dark Elf team today.
Yeah,
and he probably should have.
Yes, he probably should.
Even by killing 9 of them, which was a bit hilarious.
But he didn't, because Blood Bowl. You don't get what you deserve all the time. You get what you wrest from the dice. So here we are. They have more or less reversed the field. Every elf that's still actually alive is now the wrong side of the dwarves as far as the dwarves are concerned.
Yeah, I much prefer the reverse stacker. That's I prefer stalling close to the end zone of my opponent, not my own.
Oh, absolutely.
That's definitely my way of it.
So here's the dwarves. I mean, if it's me, I'm looking to both chip a couple more elves, because probably I'm not stopping them scoring. But also, if I can get them to score early, I mean, I can try a 2-turner or a 3-turner, but more likely it gives me, you know, more line of scrimmage hits, more chance to foul or to hit the elves.
Yeah.
So I want to push up onto this elf wall, but I want to do it up the centre of the field to stop them swapping sides on me if at all possible. Dio, though, always said he doesn't really mind the other team scoring if he thinks it gives him the inevitable win at the end of the game. And I can see him thinking, okay, the first half's gone, but I shall win the second half and destroy him so that in overtime doesn't matter who gets the ball.
Which is...
I think that might be the plan here.
Which potentially could be a bit dangerous against 85 and OS. Combined with a strength 4.
It could be. I mean, I do like stopping teams scoring against me, but it's against elves, it's so difficult to do.
Yeah, that's... and it will take at least 2 turns now for the dirty players to get down. Not the dirty players, the diving tackle players to get down in area. Down. Are you going all the way over Baza? I was about to say we'll probably see Baza now going into the middle, but he might just...
Yeah, so he's got a choice when the dwarves do press him backwards to move either side. I think that's where I'd be looking to go.
And so Nim is apparently happy being in the division he's in because he just finished building the figure of the Zulot. Soul Cat, whatever it's called.
Zolcat the Zoeth.
So he's just built his figure and now he's in the division.
Fantastic. Well, there's some good synchronicity. Oh, look at those beautiful elf lines.
You don't like them. I guess, yeah, that's...
Yeah, at this point, what are your rerolls for? You get loads more in a few turns anyway. And they're so that you can fail things twice, which is always more fun than failing them once.
And 2 + 1...
Do we really believe Dio's going to foul again? Because, as someone in chat's pointed out, if he does lose another dwarf, it means the death roller's only on for a single turn. Surely he wants the death roller for the second half. So at this point, the dwarves, can they foul? I think probably not.
Yeah, but does he really have anything to kick it with? I'm not sure either he has that.
I think I've just miscounted though. Don't we actually have 9 dwarves on field and 4 still in reserve? So he can lose 1 more dwarf and still not have to
it was
field
13,
the death
right?
roller on a short
1, 2,
drive.
3, 4, 5, 6, that's 9, 10, 11. What's he fought? That must be 9, yeah.
Yes, he must have come in with 14.
Did I miss one? He used Apple. Did I miss?
He did on the Slayer.
So he had. Oh, I might have missed the dwarf that was standing behind the death roller then.
Yeah, and I think another dwarf got served to no injury. And yeah, there is another little dwarf just hidden behind the death roller. So yeah, there is a bench dwarf still. So he can throw another foul.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, 9, 10, 11. He was for.
He did come in at 14, yeah.
Okay, now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 9 on the pitch. 2 out. Which must be. It must have come in at 14, not 13. Yeah, Conrad, I did the same. I think I missed the. I think I missed the dude standing behind the runner.
And the Troll Slayer was not fielded?
No, the Troll Slayer was the casualty. It's a one-hit wonder as always with Troll Slayers, right?
Yeah.
I didn't even get to pylon.
Now, you've still only got 2 turns to stall out. I still think as Bazzy you're not that worried here.
I guess the two two diving tackle is getting a bit closer. You need to plan for that.
Yes, yeah. I mean, they're certainly not things you want up in your cage, hassling your ball, but
You'll prefer, but definitely not before turn. Before you turn, right? It's turn 7, right? So you need to stall them one more turn before they get there, and then you need to make.
So he's building a double-walled screen here, so that if the first one collapses, he can stay there and still not be in that much danger. And of course, he's building over in that corner to get away from this diving tackle blitzer that's marking.
Yeah, and just in case
which will of course probably leap away.
And just in case you're putting it on strength 4 as well.
No, he just dodges it. Okay, well, I mean, it gets the auto reroll, and it's
better.
4+,
4+ is better than 3. 4+ reroll is better than 3+.
Yeah.
If you
the 3+ without, and if he doesn't want to use his last reroll at this point. Oh no, he's got 2.
Yeah, that's 2 turns. I think you're taking the 4+ this turn,
yeah.
And then you can leave next. You probably want to make sure you have a reroll for blocking each of the turns if needed.
Frankly, even if the 1 in 4 happens and you go down, if it's the diving tackle that's done it, the blitzer's down too, and a down blitzer with diving tackle is actually not that terrible for the elves.
No, and it will not be able to get that then. It might even have hoped for Dio to use it. I'm not too sure even Dio.
Yeah, it might not have been the worst thing for him to have.
I was about to say, I'm not sure Dio is even using it on a 2. For the same reason, because if he goes down, he knows he's never getting that in.
Yep.
And of
course, there's the worst case scenario where you're down and the elf is still running away.
Which is very likely on a 4+.
Yep.
Getting grabbed around and another casualty.
Another casualty.
Those Dwarf are on the warpath today.
They are. I mean, he's hitting with the right pieces, of course. Being Dio, he knows how to do that.
But it's also still getting some awfully nice.
And he's showing you don't need to spam Mighty Blow like some lesser Dwarf coaches do. Just with a few key Mighty Blow pieces, you can still get that attrition. In case anyone was doubting, by lesser Dwarf coaches, I do mean me.
Yeah, I think somebody might have thought you were talking about somebody else. But yes, he used it on the shattering. The mighty shake on Peep.
Now again, lovely position here for Baza. He doesn't have to do anything at all. He can just end turn and he's probably okay. So any improvement on his position is all to the good.
So yeah, Baza put this dude.
So really this turn for Baza is all about what does he want to expose.
And again.
And what does he not?
And make a way where...
Of course, he'll only leave the 1 hit. I'd be tempted just for giggles to stand the 2 loners up and run them back towards the play, hoping that for some reason the dwarves try and hit one of those. They won't. But I'd be giving them those targets just in case. And probably it's the rookie dancer and the 1 skill lion elf that he's going to hang out to dry.
Do we... Guess it's the 2 sidestepper.
Or possibly Jordell, because yeah, it looks like Jordell's going to be hung out too. Well, here you've got to hit Jordell, don't you?
Yeah, I was looking at that and I'm wondering why it's not that random dodge piece instead.
Well, I mean, I think he's already got that 1 miss next game. He's so short on elves that perhaps if Jordell gets taken out, it's not as bad as if something that will be there next game gets taken out. And it's a shame, he's such a useful piece, but
Up.
there just aren't enough elves left to continue sacrificing things, and sadly none of the loners made it out with the ball to the back end of the field.
Yeah, I'm just prefer not caring about next game before we are there.
I'm with you. I'm always about win the game in front of me, and the next game I'll worry about when it's time for that. But I don't hate hanging Jordell out, I suppose. I mean, keeping the two guards safe makes some sense.
Yeah, but you got a dodge. You got that stand. You got the lineman just with dodge. But okay, the blodge works. He gets away with it. What do I know?
He does get away with
What
it.
do I know?
Well, neither of us know anything. I think that's been long proven.
Yeah, that's my thinking as well.
So the only remaining question for this half is whether Bazakastine is whether Bazakastine is going to even bother with a single blitzed, or whether he's just going to step over.
If I can get in a proper 2D, I'm taking it for the same.
Yeah, but I mean, Dio's, I think, going to position to the point where that's very, very difficult. At the moment, there is one, but only on this, almost rookie beard that just stands there with guard.
And he was a player. If definitely a player showed already. Maybe not.
And of course, as we talked about when we did work out the numbers through actual counting, even if he chips one, it's not going to bring the death roller on for the short drive. So is he? I mean, it's a 1 in 36 re-rollable, but no, he's just stepping over.
I think still Cone Knight 85 is bloody damn useful with a wizard. It's still better retrieval than in a tackle zone than anything else. I'll take the naked 2+2+ or 3+2+ with no rerolls either.
Yes, I mean the wizard takes the ball down, the strength 4 clears the path, and then Jordell goes in and fetches, doesn't he? That's in my dream scenario for the elves. That's what's happening. It's always easier said than done.
Yeah.
Now 3 stiffs for the line. Not that worried about a one-turner from the dwarves. I think we'll see Dio try it. We all know it is possible.
Yeah, if it's a good wizard, that could be really interesting for the whole game dynamic as well. With it, then he's down to the blitzer, the diving tackle blitzers.
And here is the elves. It's going to be a really interesting start to the second half. They've got to balance the fact that at any moment, if they can whiz and get that ball away, then the game's won. At 2-0, the dwarves are almost certainly out of it, no matter how many elves are left. With the fact that if he stays near enough to take advantage, he's going to be near enough to be hit. And whilst we're not quite at peak elf yet, there's 10 elves on the pitch. We'll see how many are left at the end of this one turn. And if we're getting down into the sort of 8 region, then that's just not a lot of elves. The only other option, of course, is playing from the ground and hoping for the ball in overtime. And if you've only got a couple of elves left, then what use is it? So I think we're going to see the whiz used quite rowdy in the first 2 to 3 turns if there's any kind of a sniff of a ball recovery. You think so, Dev? You don't think he's going to try it at all? The one turn? No, I mean, the way he's set up, he obviously isn't.
And definitely not when he didn't have a reroll. If he had that reroll up front, he might have thought about it, I guess.
Yes, and with the wood elves having used their apothecary already, I mean, the idea of chipping even one of those elves, let alone if it was 2 or all 3, is very, very tempting.
Now it's not going to be all 3.
No, well, unless we see a foul.
Did he bring in his rookie? Then we might see it. He did. We probably are. We might actually see a loner foul. I'm not sure I like it, but
well, he's got the assists around for it. I know it's going to be tempting him.
Yeah, that looked like it now, even more because he's pushing that away from.
Yeah, because he pushed that one away from the others. Absolutely. I think he's setting up for a foul, personally. Even though it's a loner, it's just about getting those numbers, isn't it? And he has the dwarves to trade. Here we go. Jim foul or good one? Gets the casualty,
Gets sent off.
but loses the dwarf.
I probably both are fine with that.
We've still got 12 dwarves. I don't think he's going to be worried at all
But
by
I
that
don't
trade.
think Baza is too upset either, because it does mean a lucky chip. And we also have the lucky chip will mean that they're fastly down to 10 with the roller. And it's just a loner.
Yeah, the problem with Bazza is it now means putting something on the line that isn't a loner.
And I actually need 2 now because it didn't come. The KO stayed out. I think the KO staying.
Because the KO didn't come back either,
No,
did
I
it?
think that's a bigger problem.
Yeah, well, I mean, just being 2 elves down, as I said, we're now down to 8 elves, which is just not many. And again, if we see a couple chipped on this line of scrimmage, it's a very tough situation. Even with a strength 4 war dancer and Jordel and another war dancer, it's getting to be very few elves.
Yeah, but if just the KO comes back, then it's not actually too much you need to. Then it's just a dust lime, and it's a bit shit that the KO stayed out as well.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, with the roller coming in now, if you got still strength 4 to snipe people, if you get a lucky hit cast which happens, then it's certainly a lot of difference. Especially if you get the ball in overtime. Then we did see Jimmy how much difference it does setting defense up with 10 versus 11. How much harder it actually is to put up a safe defense.
Yeah, and with the roller definitely out, he's only got to chip 1 dwarf, as you say, and then they will be short of numbers, but there's just so few elves left already. There's a lot of debate as to what the informally called peak elf is, the point at which there's just not enough elves. And for me, that's 1 elf. I think 1 elf is controllable, 2 elves isn't.
I'm very exciting. It's been saying Jomantic is typing on my Discord for a while now. Do you think he's happy with the chaos? Oh.
I think he's thrilled. Why would he not be?
I should actually probably pass that. I forgot I hadn't passed the link where you can actually see what the different stand for.
Oh, I see. He was asking what he'd got. CS made no count. Yeah, he's got a Counter-Strike team.
It's just my lack of spaces.
Now, this is the perfect time for the offset line of scrimmage, isn't it?
That's the wrong. That's still the wrong spreadsheet. Get back, get back.
Get back to where you once belonged.
That is.
And there was much rejoicing.
Oh, I've totally missed.
So, welcome to anyone that's staying from Andy Davo's stream. You join us half-time at the Dionysian Bazakastine round of 32 Chalice Cup game. We saw the dwarves get quite aggressive and come forwards into the elves. The elves managed to push through down a flank and stall out behind the dwarves for a step over in turn 8 with the ball under no pressure. But there's been a lot of elves chipped. We are down to 8 elves on the field and 1 more KO'd. There's still 12 dwarves, but one of them's a death roller, so it will only play this drive. And of course, these 2 are the top coaches around today. Well, now we're down to 7. As I said, if he can get another one out, I think he may even foul with the death roller, even this early. Just the numbers are so in his favour right now. Not anything on the line of scrimmage, obviously, but if there's something tempting goes down in the other 5.
And not at least also actually thank you for Sitok, my tag team partner, for the braid as well, just a couple of minutes earlier. And for CBR for the follow. And hello Andy and everybody.
And we have a slight pause in proceedings in the middle of the dwarf turn. Yeah. Trying to decide if he was going for the pickup there, and he is. A swing over, of course, to the side where there's less elves. And as Arrested Development's punt has come, that we're not going to see the dwarves trying to score any earlier than turn 16. He thinks the dwarf plan here is, and always has been, an overtime win with very few elves left.
Yeah, he does like a good deal 1-1 win, right?
Well, I mean, Dio likes the phrase inevitable, doesn't he? And inevitable is, what he will call it if he can get them down to just 1 or 2 elves. That way, it doesn't matter who gets the ball in overtime. He'll be very confident of the win.
And another one. But
and there goes the second elf already. This is looking very, very bleak for the Woodies. Unless they can find a really creative use of that wizard and steal that ball away with maybe Jordell.
Yeah, I think he should try to score on turn 17. A deadly bean.
I mean, is that what you'd be thinking as the Woodies here? Are you just running away and trying to stay alive and hoping for the overtime ball? Or do you still think with the wizard in hand, it's worth trying to take this as to a 2
The problem is, it's probably not getting better in overtime, so you might as well.
No, you're going to lose more elves, aren't you? I mean, he's giving him a nice big fireball target, but I don't think that's the way that that Baza will go.
And here comes the roller. Roller, baby.
Yeah, called that roller off. That roller foul.
Dirty player. And he's off. That makes him...
It's only a stun and the roller's gone. Now there's a nice little swing in momentum for Bazakastine. We may see some life in this game yet.
That's amazing. I like it. 1 and done.
Well, it gives us a slightly more interesting second half than what was otherwise going to be perhaps very processional. But of course, we've still got the wizard to throw a random factor in any time Baza chooses to use it. But it won't be this turn.
A 1-trip pony. That's how we like our trip. 1 and done.
Yeah, so Jordell and the good dancer staying nice and out of range. But instead of accepting that block didn't work, we've decided for some reason to go with a catcher hit, which has put 3 elves right up in the dwarf's face. I'd be amazed if one of them doesn't get hit and the other 2 don't end up with a lot of dwarves around them. And with only 6 elves left on the pitch, really losing any elf now is just not good.
No, it's maybe a bit too deep. Because you also need to, if you use the wizard, you also need to take advantage of it.
Yeah, the wizard isn't just about hitting someone, it's about taking the ball away. And that means you need to whiz the ball, you need to get to the ball, and then you need to get the ball to someone who can get it away. So there's those 3 stages to using the wizard. At the moment it's a juicy target, but the odds of recovering it are not brilliant. Although Jordell, of course, can still get there and fling it a long way away, but I'd be waiting for a slightly juicier shot.
And Benzamiak, he's not casting himself, but he appears in a lot of different other casts at the moment. And he does have a lovely voice.
Casting whore, I'll turn up to anyone that asks me.
And you do a podcast, a Fumble podcast as well.
We do the Fumble podcast, yeah. We're trying to get another one in the can at some point in the next couple of days. I'd love to stream. At the moment, I just don't have the equipment to. One of my New Year sort of aims is to upgrade my laptop perhaps to a proper PC and be able to have just the sheer grunt in it to both run Blood Bowl 2, and it's a huge amount of resource sucking, and a streaming software at the same time, without starting a small fire.
And then we can leech onto a PC instead.
But right now I'm rent a gob. I'll turn up anywhere where I'm asked and wanted, and often when I'm not too.
Yeah, you definitely. We've been doing quite a lot of Telex game over the last couple of months. Yeah, who else did you get in? Unfortunately, I couldn't join. I was playing.
Yes, actually, yeah. KFoged knows the Blood Bowl, and I talk nice.
Oh, and the shadowing. Oh, another send off. It's a really interesting how the two similarities between the two games of Wood Elf we've seen today.
Yeah.
A lot of killed elf and a lot of fouling and a lot of send offs. I'm not.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm,
And yet last time we saw this go to overtime, and then the elves perhaps not take advantage of some of the situations they had in front of them. I wonder if that's how this one's going to pan out.
I was about to say you could bowl this one. Can the strings 4 get there in the proper way?
And right now we are short. The dwarves for the next drive will have a maximum of 10. Of course, the elves have a maximum of about 3, but that's less of an issue for the elves sometimes.
That's definitely.
They've the speed and agility to overload one flank, for example. So it may be 10 dwarves, but if you can take on just 5 of them with your 6 elves, you can still have the numbers advantage.
But interesting, he didn't even stun that dude. So you definitely need to think about the ball here.
It was double 2s, wasn't it? So it didn't even break the armor, and yet lost the dwarf.
Yeah, if you just haven't dropped that deep, so those 2 in the back could have been a better. Oh, that's so annoying.
I mean, one of the worries for they're a little deep to have a go with the wizard this turn, aren't they? And the other dancer, I just don't think it's got the skills to get in there and do much. It's tempting. There's a 5 dwarf fireball, the lightning bolt. If that one that isn't stunned could recover it and punt, there's all sorts of options there.
And it's.
Problem with the lightning bolt is a lot of the bounces put the ball in a bad place, and the problem with a fireball is it doesn't guarantee taking the strength 4 runner down.
You cannot fireball.
So I'm not sure. I think this is a turn I would resist the wizard. Yeah, and
I think he's probably spent 2 minutes being annoyed by he put those 2 so deep.
Yes, because if they weren't so deep, this would have been a good turn to go in.
I'll not even be surprised if Bazza's just being annoyed by himself for 2 minutes.
He's probably wondering why.
Why did he actually?
Unlike when he spins in North American time zones, he's spinning into things in the chalice that are somewhat harder. Oh, I should leave that alone, shouldn't I? I should stop worrying at that scab.
If Colin have spent 3 days being annoyed by that. To be fair, he might.
And the Slayer doing its job there perfectly. I mean,
oh.
I don't know if Dio does it deliberately, but as most people have worked out now, that's what my Slayer's for.
Oh, I did it.
It's for people to hit.
Yeah, it's really good. I did manage to name drop that earlier today as well in Jimmy's game.
What, the Slayers are just basically there as diversions.
So the diving tackle did more than the foul.
Yep. He's not going to mind the stun. Dio's not going to mind the diving tackle going onto the ground. I'm not sure he's trying to push forwards at this point. He's just trying to murder elves.
Is he doing a ding-a-ling-dong again? Is he fouling anymore? Or was that the last EU foul?
I mean, I think at this point, I would be fouling if I can get Jordell down or if I can get the strength 4 down. But I think the others, I probably think I can't risk it. But, you know, Dio decides his game plan before the game and very often doesn't allow things in the game to change what he thinks is a good strategy. So if he's decided that's the way through this, we may well see some more fouling.
Couldn't you call that a leak? Not wanting to adapt your game plan to the game?
Well, I mean, I've seen you do the same, Core. So, you know, there is a strength sometimes into having a good plan, and even if the first roll doesn't go right, still following it through.
Yeah.
There are times where a commitment has to be a commitment, even if the dice aren't friendly. You know that.
I was more you could potentially choose to stop fouling now and keep your guard advantage alive.
Oh, what? Just stay exactly where you are and do a foul. Yeah.
Or just not foul anymore.
I mean, I think we're going to see him taking on this War Dancer and perhaps a tiny bit of advancing here. Just gently. He doesn't want to, you know, get into range or score or anything.
But the diving tackle in itself, it needs to be followed up by the tackle pieces. Otherwise, in theory, it's just a 75%.
Yeah, I don't love diving tackle without tackle, just because that 1 in 4 chance of it working, and you know, a reasonable number of times you're on the ground and they're running away laughing at you.
Another one bites the
Yeah,
dust.
that was the dancer I expected him to go through, and he has gone through it, only for a KO, which be an interesting thing to anyone that watched Jimmy's game earlier. Yes, elves can get KO'd as well as casualty. Of course, with 3 elves knocked out, that's a reasonable chance with 2 rerolls on them before overtime. A reasonable chance we get at least 2 of those back. And of course, they're safe from further attrition for the rest of this half. It's actually not a terrible place to have a few elves stored if you don't have a bench. But it does, of course, make stealing this ball for a 2-0 even less likely. That's 1 less leaping piece. That's 1 less move 8 piece to run away with it afterwards.
But
might we even be at the point to keep the whiz dry and hope to get the ball and use it to score?
I was about to say, I think this easily could be a turn where you unbolt and hope you make the pick up and just goes away.
Well, now the dwarves are in range of the 2 good pieces. So if you are going to use the whiz on this half, this is probably the turn where it's looking... I'm not sure it's going to look a lot better than this. It doesn't look great, but I'm not sure it ends up looking a lot better.
It's likely it's only going to land in 1 tackle turn.
Yes, there's only 1 square. There's only 2 squares where it lands in... Oh no, 3. 3 of the 8 it lands in 2.
Yeah, and some...
But even then, with an AG5 piece, that's not the end of the world.
And you could even hope... And you couldn't even hope it scatters onto the guard piece and then out of it. In the back.
Yeah, I mean, that's the ideal here, is that it bounces onto a dwarf who fails to catch it, and then it bounces outside.
And then the strength 4 jumps in, hits,
at which point it's pretty much good game over.
Runs, and Jodel is backing him up, and I don't really... I would probably do it and say, if this works, it works, otherwise the overtime.
Yeah, I'd probably do it. I mean, but then you're like me, you'd rather lose for something you tried than something you didn't. You'd rather go out rowdy than go out tame.
Yeah. And he can wait a bit time because he only have 4 players to use anyway.
Yeah, he's got 3-minute turns. He's using a minute to think about this. Is it really the chance he wants? Is there any chance of it getting better than this? My answer to the second one of those is no. You're not going to get a better shot. If it's not now, then you're saving it for overtime.
And if you're
not now, then you just got to run away and try and keep the elves alive, surely.
But is getting... And if you don't make any KOs, is 4 elf enough? He's going for overtime.
We're not seeing the whiz used.
Well, I'm not sure like this.
And we are seeing the runaway. Yeah, he's. I think he's going to save the whiz for overtime and hope for overtime ball. Of course, as I said, there's a good chance he gets at least 2, maybe all 3 of those elves back, and then he might have better numbers, even if the dwarves get the ball and he's still got the wizard. That's not necessarily game over.
He could also not get any. Or he could lose more.
Yes, he could also not get any. But, you know, we all know that if you've got a 50% chance and you get 2 rolls on it, then it has to happen, doesn't it? Isn't that maths? You know, 50% plus 50%, that's 100%.
Yeah. In the world of Dimity.
So, go make a cup of tea, go kiss the kids, go to the loo. I think we're pretty much done till overtime here. The remaining question in my head is, do we send any dwarves after the elves? And do we do a foul on the elves that stayed down? I think the answer is there's no point chasing the elves, they're too quick. But the foul, I think Dionysian, I don't think he should, but I think he might. Yeah. I think after the blitz we're going to see a foul on that midfield elf.
Gets rewarded.
Oh, and another chip from the one hit this turn. He gets his reward, doesn't even need the piling on. Which is a terrible skill on a dwarf anyway, so that's a relief. And we do get the foul coming in.
Dead.
And another death. And this time the dwarf also gets sent off. These refs today have been right on the business, haven't they?
But there's also been some really bloody fouls. There's been blood spilling everywhere every time. It's really hard to cover up. You kill the player.
Here's your Deep Football Italia 90 cut. Has someone hired Pierluigi Collina for the Blood Bowl today? For my money, the greatest ref that ever saw the pitch.
The bald guy with slightly evil eyes.
That was him. That was him. Although I'm sure he'd like to be remembered more for his referee.
He was good. He was good.
Slightly evil eyes. Oh. He was a fab ref. But also, he just looked so like you wouldn't want to mess with him in a dark alley. The players didn't really row back with him.
Oh, it's
he looked like he could pull a knife any minute.
I did ref football for like 10 plus years. I remember having like a little dude more or less treading me, like coming with absurd threats, especially for the fact I was standing looking down on him. And tried to remember everything so you could get some extra days. That was brilliant.
So, I want to ask the chat, what do you think? I thought that was the key term where you either used the whiz or ran away. Baza chose ran away. What would you have done? Would you have whizzed and tried to attack the ball, or would you have run away and waited for overtime? What do you think of the elf decision? Oh god, I've got everyone talking about football.
Well, now you had. I think you used the whiz. I'm still on the whiz camp.
I would have used the whiz there.
You could gain. We can gain numbers, but that's only really one of the numbers that really makes a difference. If you just get his loner back, it doesn't matter any fucking thing.
Yeah, I know, Valkasia. I think we all... I mean, I agreed with KFoged that Jordal and the Strength 4 just pulled a bit too far back, making that whiz on the turn when we would have liked to use it, just not great. But if you assume that didn't happen...
This is just even worse. Because the Dark Elf actually had better players.
Yeah, there's very, very few elves left now.
But it's really funny, the similarities between the two games.
Yeah. So there we go. The turn 16 score.
I guess you get one.
And these KO rolls could be huge. Only one back. Baz is not going to be happy.
It's the right one. It's the only one really mattering.
But of course, as I said, 50% for it to happen again. So if he gets one more elf back, that puts 3 on the line, 2. As long as he gets the ball, I think the elves are in a good place here, even with only 5 elves. I think 4 would be tricky. I think 5 would be fine. 5 with one of them a strength 4, another one a dancer, another one Jordel, and a wizard in my hand. I'd probably take that going into the game. But I think if the dwarves get the overtime ball, I'm just not sure there's enough elves. I think Adeb's right. Anything that comes back gets deleted on the line of scrimmage, and then there's not enough elves to stop the dwarf advance.
Because it's the same as
And Dio gets his inevitable win. However, he is down to 9 elves.
dwarves.
Dwarves.
Yeah, you're just marking. You're putting one guy in the middle of all those, and then you're putting the rest somewhere besides them and hope for the best.
Yeah. I mean, you've got to have 3 on the line, so 1 in the middle, 2 in the corners. I mean, are you even bothering to hit with the strength 4 here? I mean, a nice chip putting them down to 8 dwarves would really help.
Yeah.
And then you can blitz another one. You can get 2 easy hits here without a lot of risk.
And yeah, that is also a point. Even if you use the wizard in that turn, he probably still have to pick up and score with somebody else, which you probably can sack with War Dancer.
Yeah.
All that kick with it, all those fine rerolls.
Yeah, I mean, that's nice for Bazza because, of course, that's against the fame for him. And 4 rerolls, I'm not sure they're going to be that vital, but it's nice. It means he's got plenty. He can burn one every turn and not necessarily worry. I think if it goes much beyond 4 turns in overtime, they're dead anyway. So means he can probably even use one this turn if something horrible happens, like a double skull.
Little bit of showboating going on.
What I'd love to see here is just running the elf as far forwards as possible. I always think that's brilliant. When it's completely pointless, but people do it anyway.
Running forward, right?
Now, this might be the most important role in the whole game. Oh.
Roll them forward and then pass the ball to one of the dwarfs. The dwarf is on defense.
Yeah, well, I think for the good of the game, that's what we needed to see.
Chaos not back.
Now.
Ooh, so it is 4.
No KOs back, so it is 4 elves versus 9 dwarves. But the 4 elves have 4 rerolls and a wizard. Is that going to be enough? What do you say, chap? What's your guess now? We know who's got the ball. We know who's going to win overtime. Well, who's going to win overtime?
I'm pretty sure.
Yes, the elves won the toss.
All people decided to start on defense for adversity. I don't know.
Yes, it could be that Dio gave up the ball. Doesn't seem that likely, but it's possible. Okay, so far we have 3 votes for the elves, 1 for the dwarves, 4 for the elves, and 1 for the dwarves.
It does.
Oh yeah, the dice log.
It doesn't say anything about it. It
no,
just
it
say. But it says he chose to receive. Yeah.
Oh yes, chose to receive. So yeah, it was an elf win. Does that mean an elf win? Well, right now, of course, if it goes to kicks, it is 4-4, which would be lovely. I do love sitting watching 4 completely pointless animations from each side before we get to the 50-50 coin flip.
Oh, Pitch Invasion.
Pitch Invasion. Well, with Dio having the fame, that would probably kill off the elves.
Besides, if it's like a lucky one and one standing running with the ball and then the elf coming up first. Get blitz. But
yes, a blitz, a perfect defense even, let alone a pitch invasion could really change this. But I think if it was Dwarf Ball, we all thought it was probably over. Though, again, a Wiz, a Strength 4, and Jordel being AG5. Crazier things have happened than 4 elves beating dwarves like this.
The only problem was 3 of those had to go in the line.
Yes. So how do you deal with this? You're an elf fancier. Do you try and push forward down a flank instantly, or do you fall back and try and suck them in? Are we going to see a Daka?
Dio's not going to fall. Well, that's good for Baza. He's going... Oh, wait a second.
Yeah.
I was about to say strength 4 is deep. I was about to say just run for it.
Bit less deep, but it's also got the ball in hand, I'd have thought. Oh no, it doesn't catch. Can you put a reroll? No, you can't put a reroll. Yes, you can put a reroll in on that, can't you? I think I might have done. Oof! Nothing like opening up your drive with double skulls. Followed by a 1 in 9. Oh, and then the runoff.
Yeah.
We are seeing the Daka. They're going to try and pull the dwarves in.
But now he got kick rotate. Now he don't need to.
So now Dio can just sit there, can't he, and wait for kicks.
Which part can you not reroll? Are we talking about? Are we talking about the double skull and then?
No, you can't re-roll a catch on a kickoff event unless you have catch.
Yep.
I think.
Correct.
And the same on a blitz. You can't re-roll it unless you've got the catch skill.
We are talking about the catch, so that is correct.
Yeah.
I know. Did I read?
I think you are going to be able to in Blood Bowl 2020, aren't you?
Yeah.
They missed that bit out of the rules.
I was actually about to say I'm not sure you can actually skill reroll. Catch the other way around.
Oh, they've removed it entirely. Okay. I don't know.
I cannot remember. I haven't read them for ages, so I'll need to.
How can that be, Core? That you read them ages ago when they haven't been out very long? Interesting.
But yeah, Masim, you could have tried bolting and then blitzing and running. I had, seriously, if it's me, I've been looking and doing it.
Yeah, bolting the central dwarf and then just running through.
And blitzing the next.
Because the one behind doesn't have stand firm, you could just push it out the way. Move the ball up to those 3 central elves and then just run.
But you cannot reroll a reroll now either.
Actually, I think that may be the best shot he's going to get. So yeah, I probably would have done the same. Whizzed that central dwarf and pushed forwards. I didn't like that setup at all from the dwarves.
I might have looked at being a bit adventurous and going and blitz, going like offset on the line of scrimmage and bolting one of the stand.
Yeah, try to go down one edge.
Bolting one of the.
Oh dear! Yet another elf out. We're now down to 3. That one did not run far away, and hence it's gone. And this time, no sending off, which I guess is all right, isn't it? We've seen the ref very active.
So you couldn't have standing like 3 in the one side and then bolting the diving tackle and then going down one side, because the problem is going up in the middle is most people can reach you.
Yeah. And there was a runner behind the central dwarf, meaning even if you moved it, there was still either a dodge or a
I still think it's pretty still. That's only one really option, isn't it? Doing a sideline cage and hope you can get out of it after next turn with the strength 4.
It has to be. Well, you've got leap, you've got re-rolls, you've got a wizard. You just need to get somewhere where, as you say, no matter what they do, you've got the ability to get out next turn and get away with the ball.
And you might.
I don't think this is ever going to get better, so I'd probably push up the right-hand side right now.
Can you? You only have 2, so it kind of have to be a sideline. And the sideline
has to be a sideline cage. There's no other way of keeping this ball safe. Or you drop further back and hope that somehow Dio mispositions as he advances towards you, which from Dio isn't that likely, is it?
Doing it. Okay. Can he get? Okay, he can get high enough to make.
Yeah, he's got the pace to get over there.
And then Jodel can get there, and then he can get. So can be on top of that. He can get around that though. Doesn't that mean he needs to do a Jodel go for it, or can he? No, okay. No,
No, I think Jordell can. Jordell's very fast. He can get in
oh,
and
it's
close
just a
this
normal
out.
dodge. 1, 2, 3, 4.
And although there are routes round,
And the Slayer, of course.
I mean, the Slayer can definitely get there and has Dauntless, but you know, you're attacking a sidestepping strength 4 blodger without tackle. It's not an ideal situation, let's say.
But he cannot reach with half his team.
And now Juggernaut looks an interesting choice on the Slayer. Although, of course, in other games it's incredibly good. In this one, absolutely dead TV.
I'll imagine Deus is taking the War Dancer in front.
Yeah.
1, 2.
Pulling most things back as far into the central area as he can, and then trying to get some ball contact. And a second line a couple back from it. And then from what we've seen so far, probably fouling the Dancer if he gets it down. This game's still incredibly well poised. You could still sell me any result from here, except the draw. I don't think this one goes to time.
It will be a freak show of missed 3 pluses then in that case.
Yes, eight turns of no one picking up, maybe.
Because the Deus surely just... I don't think so. Oh, Mazen. But Dio needs to think about next turn as well. Because that's even more important. He needs to try to make sure there's not 3 elves again. You need to want to avoid that sideline cage forming next turn. Upside screening like this.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And he's dropped the runner far enough back that any kind of punt is still recoverable, which is really important.
I hope you...
Although I don't hate the idea of running away and punting after whizzing that runner.
I was
That
about
might be
to
an
say, I
option
wanted to... Oh, he doesn't get him.
Oh, for once we're seeing a non-POW. Interesting place to sidestep
It's
to.
grab.
Oh no, that was grab, wasn't it? Yeah.
Grab have been useful in this one.
Grab has been useful. Grab's not a terrible skill. It's a late pick. You wouldn't pick it early.
But guards down for mighty blow.
Guard, mighty blow, stand firm. I prefer it to palm.
Yeah, Dio hasn't taken a single palm, right? So he's neither palm or... So neither palm or...
No, I don't think there is a palm, is there?
So he don't have claw or palm, so he cannot win the cup, right?
Of course not. One skill to rule them all.
Yeah, you have to blitz that now.
Yeah.
How bolded or blitz it? Probably want to blitz it.
Jordell has to blitz that away, doesn't he? And I don't hate whizzing the runner here, and then trying to get forward and punting the ball. I think that's possibly your only hope.
You don't need to punt it if you get the diving tackle down. If diving tackle is down, you can do a sideline cage on 2 pluses.
You have to decide on the whiz before you do that. That's the problem.
Yep. Or you can not.
Or you whiz the diving tackle, and then just everyone runs up the side again. That's another option.
That's up those.
But I think this is the wizard turn. One of those two has to see a lightning bolt right now. For the 3 people in chat that might get this, lava, lava, lava. Very exclusive joke there.
Yeah, it might. You don't need to. In theory, you can.
I think to be sure, you have to take off and
Oh!
space. Yeah, here we go. Perfect. And gets the removal. That's just wonderful for him.
Setok, you have you.
I mean, even a stun was fine. Even a knockover was fine. But the removal is just bonus territory. Now it's 8 versus 3. I think that's advantage elves.
It's still a problem if one of those. Oh, wait a second. You don't even need to silent case now, do he? He can act.
I told you 2 elves is too many, and 3 elves is just huge amounts of them.
Where can Jordal get to?
I'm surprised he dodged out backwards there. I thought we'd see a leap. Because that's, yeah, we're going to have to see some go for it. Oh, okay, we're doing a screen.
Oh!
And he's much smarter than me. Oh, the double skull!
A double ones.
Oh, a double skull of doom there with Jordal still at risk. That's why I would have jumped, I think, but then... that, of course, could have failed and been even worse. At least that dancer's in the right area if this does all go horribly wrong. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's 2 go for it's to hit with a tackler. Or, of course, you can just strength for it with the runner. If it's me, I'm taking the tackler.
Yeah, I'm not sure either if he actually had to. Couldn't he just have been standing there?
I think 1 square less. I didn't think the go for it was needed.
1, 2, 3, 4.
I think Jordal then comes up and assists.
Yeah, because that takes away the tackle, which is the one he's most annoyed by. Runner strength 4 is hitting if runner strength 4 is hitting. You don't really. That's not the problem. I don't know. Jordal also had a bit of work. You could have leaped down instead. 1, 2.
Now this is 1 die unless he's going to bring in the Slayer for a second assist, which I think he might. That's another 2 go for it though, and then 2 go for it to hit. That's 4 2 pluses for a 2
yeah,
die.
But it's a string 4 carrier. How much? So he needs to do 2 DFIs if he wants to do it at 2 dice.
2 go for it's for a 1 die, or 4 go for it's for 2 dice.
And
he's doing the 4 go for it route.
That's a pro. I think he's been watching you play.
Well, if it was elves doing 2 dodges, no one would think about it twice.
No!
He gets there, gets the hit. Oh, gets the power eventually on the second set to dice. Now he's not going to be able to recover this if it stays on the pitch. Oh, but the stun is going to kill him there.
Oh, where's the ball stopping? Where's the ball stopping?
That's going to be helpful. Where does the ball stop? Oh, that's just awful for every elf lover on this earth. We're going to see the dwarves cage around it and probably then pick it up with the blitzer. Although there's no rerolls left, so a 1 or a 2 on a pickup. He might not even bother with the pickup, but I think he probably should.
But he does also want to hit Jordal in this situation. That takes 1 away more.
Well, I mean, you can eye cage it, 1 either side, and then you try and pick up, and even most bounces aren't horrific.
It's horrific if Jordal is still standing.
Yes, as you say, I think you need to hit Jordal.
And there was much rejoicing.
Can he?
Yeah, I like that shape. Nice squares he's put the dwarves in. Oh!
We can go for the touchdown.
Now that has changed everything again. Not made it a total elf win, but it certainly made it more interesting.
No, we don't. Ooh, are we blitzing the guy on the ball, or are we just trying to get it to the war dancer? Away from tackle.
If I'm Jordal, I'm blitzing the dwarf that I'm standing next to. And then I'm just
stand
running
firm.
straight diagonally through that ball and picking it up. Yeah, but I want to knock it over, obviously. I mean, I suppose the leap's only a 2+.
I'm not taking the leap. The question is, you want to blitz the guy on the ball, if any of them. No, just take the 2 pluses.
3, 4, then a blitz, but it's a stand firm.
Yeah, that's
I mean, with agility 5, don't you just 2+ your way home?
leap and throw. War dancer too. You can put war dancer and into.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, absolutely.
Question is when you leave. If you leave first thing, you might. Oh, you can. That's enough move. If you leave first thing, you might not even need to. Oh, nope, he's not going. Is he out of?
No, you don't need to do the go for it into the end zone, do you? You can even just punt it into the corner with Jordell.
Oh.
And then you've got 2 elves that can collect it next turn, as long as Jordell scoops this. Makes the leap.
No!
Makes the dodge. Makes the pickup.
Come on, Loner.
Fails the next dodge.
Loner.
And Loner says, no, sir. However, Jordell's not dead. The other War Dancer unstuns.
But
this is still not entirely simple for Dio. Although now he's got a reroll to get it onto
6, 7, 8.
Onto the Blitzer's hands.
I guess he needed the extra movement to make it. Did he really need? Couldn't he just?
Now the runner can't get there.
He could have passed from. He could have passed from that square. Instead of doing an extra go for an extra dodge. It's still been a failed pass though. Yeah. Yeah, he needed probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, that'll leave him there. Too bad that Jordell is not movement 9, right?
Yeah, I think he was trying to avoid the interception, absolutely.
But that's still... The interception is a 2+ as well. Interception is just as likely as the failed dodge. But you're standing on interception.
Yeah, I mean, you could have come around the other side of the dwarf to collect and still got away, couldn't you? You had the range to do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah, I think
8. Yes, you did.
And if you're standing as well.
And then if you're punting to the corner rather than passing to the War Dancer, there's no interception.
Yeah, you could have done that as well on top. I think it was a bit overgreedy.
Now, it's still quite a long way for the dwarves to go.
Yeah. It's 1-3.
And the dancers are very, very quick. It's not over this, but it's a very bad position for the elves. Unless we see this 1 in 9 fail for the pickup, because that would put them even on rerolls and the ball on the floor. At which point, I think it's advantage elves again. But we do probably need that fail to turn this back into a real.
And to be fair, again. Whoa! No.
Oof! That's fair. I think he wants to foul with the Slayer. That's why he's going for this early pickup.
But I was about to say no, but everything else then I felt.
And anyone that cannot hear the wheels of Kequity clicking through Dio's mind right now has never heard him talk about Blood Bowl. But this has to be a reroll, doesn't it? You can't leave it on the ground next to
No, he needs to reroll it. That's no doubt. I cannot even. Come on, fail the foul. We won the game.
Yeah. There we go, and here comes the foul.
And he's KO'd. And send off though. So you can mark with sidestep, and then you can blitz the other War Dancer and try to get him back. And you're not. Are you blitzing the 1 dice? Oh, do uphill? Okay. Why are you giving him 3 extra tackle hits on the War Dancer? I do not understand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm taking the go for it and blitzing from the front.
Yeah.
And actually,
yeah, you can get 1 die on this ball, can't you? I mean, there's no recovery options, but at the moment, all you need is the ball on the ground to just try and delay the.
And actually, if it was me, I'd just been attacking him and then trying to get Strings 4 back in the game, because he will be able to get.
Yeah, try and get the other dancer back in the game. Absolutely.
Yeah, and
if you blitz that dwarf that the other dancer's down next to, that takes him out of the drive. It means the dwarves are going to I mean, not struggle to get forward. They've still got 5 dwarves, 6 dwarves that can move, but it's a little bit
Okay.
more limiting.
Is Dio rerolling this?
What did he? Why is that other dancer not going anywhere? What the hell is he doing standing
He
there?
started. It was his
How is that in any way
his
useful?
first action was just standing it up instead of.
I think that was a misclick. Yeah, I think that has to have been a misclick. There's just no reason for him to be standing there. It's terrible. He needed to come back towards where the ball was in some way, and I think it was a misclick.
Yeah, again, I have said I've been marking the ball carrier with the sidestep to try to just delay him and get strength 4 back, which is the beast.
Yeah, I mean, imagine how different this would look if the strength 4 was already in the midfield somewhere.
Now Dios is probably pretty safe there. But we get a reroll and he can hit it, no matter where he puts that. Like, he can... the Wardens, if he really wants to, if he wants the 1 dice, he can get the Wardens back. Yeah, good start of this game, but 1. 3 plus 2 plus 2 plus...
Yes, he can actually get an easy 1 die here and leave the strength 4 on that blitzer, can't he?
I think you need to get that back.
But it's 2 go for it. Yeah, I mean, it's got to be done, so it doesn't matter how bad the dice are. That's the dice you've got to pull.
And it looks like we're doing that. Oh, blitzing it free to at least get it back. You don't even need to... Yeah, if you just do that, you don't even need because he's not scoring. So you just need to make sure the dancer is in range next turn.
Yeah.
And now you need to make sure I cannot get out of your range.
Now you just need to stay somewhere where you can get to the ball wherever it is, but the dwarves probably can't get to you.
He cannot... Ooh. I will have made a go for it.
I think you've got to do the go for it. I think you can't be that far back.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Go. If he makes 2, go for it. Strings 4 is not hitting. Is it made? Oh, it's movement 9.
Somewhere where he can't get out of range.
He cannot get out of range. It's movement 9. For fuck's sake. Thank you, Hellboy. He took movement 9 on the last kill. So he probably might be staying there and just try to screen it free. Oh, Dimmy, you so late to the party. Typical you, just telling what everybody else is saying. And thank you for the raid.
What you've missed, what's been missed is an absolutely fascinating game of Blood Bowl that's been, other than the second half, which was a bit dull, has been fascinating to watch throughout.
Cheers. Did you play some games after your podcast? And is it a good episode of the podcast? Remember...
Not sure stopping there works.
Oh no, did he turn up again?
Although Dio has left it in range of the strength 4, but then he's going to put lots of things in the way, I imagine.
Oh. No, it's a POW. I must be doing some cheeky double screening. Yeah, standing on the angle he needs. But
yeah, absolutely.
But with movement 9, he... Oh, fucking hell. Everything is going out.
Oh. Everything's coming up, Dio. I mean, I think particularly the KO's not recovering, that 4 go for it, and 4 dice getting the ball down, and then the throw-in was just horrific for him.
There was a couple of throw-ins on the way that looked good, and then it ended up being bad.
He's not re-rolling that, surely. Oh no, he probably is, isn't he? Because it's
Is he?
if it works, he's won.
I was about to say because he's also in an annoying spot because Baza wanted to go that way. So he might be fine just taking an extra square out of the movement. If Baza wanted to go straight down in.
I mean, frankly, that wasn't on the route I was taking.
Okay, you're going.
I'm going one in field and then diagonally down towards the ball.
What about 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Problem is you really want the extra square rights to also pick it up. 1, 2, 3,
8,
4,
9,
5,
10,
6,
and
7,
then
8.
I'm hitting on 10 and trying to pick up on 11.
So you're going 1.
But of course, it being stand firm, there's lots of places it can move to. I can't get it.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
I'm going one to the right as I look at it, and then diagonally in a straight line through
You can also.
Nordrin's tackle zone twice,
Isn't it Nordric?
and then leaping through the Ecrid
Do you need
Krull
that?
double.
Can you not just go straight down and 3+2+ over the runner, and then one more, and going moment 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. No, that's too
4,
many.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. But then you're hitting on
Yeah,
11,
that's not great.
which is no chance to pick up. My route, you're hitting on 10, even though it's a harder route.
Leave.
I mean, neither's great, but
What about going there, leave over? Which one of the Longbeards are you leaping on Nordric? So the PC route. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
yeah, I'm doing a 3+, 2+, and then a 2+ leap. And a 2+ go for it.
3+ leap.
Yeah, 3+ leap. So 3+, 2+,
Oh, do
3+,
the leap first.
2+.
It's kind of the.
And that's the route he seems to be going, except he's doing the leap first. It's the same dice, just a different way around. Here comes the reroll.
And it's 2-2, which had been the perfect pickup. Oh my god.
No, and it's a DO win.
So
the inevitability of attrition did for him in the end.
So no matter which way he's been.
And despite how incredibly close the dwarves came to winning, the elves came to winning, the dwarves take it 2-1, and Dio marches on.
He actually won.
An absolutely fantastic game of Blood Bowl from both sides, I think. There wasn't a lot that happened that I totally disagreed with. You can always look and say, oh, well, perhaps this or perhaps that, but there were some really good plans almost every turn. And it was an absolute joy to watch. So Asterflix next in another North American. This time, of course, a French-Canadian.